Hi, it's impact. So we have, almost zero time. I would like to begin straight ahead. Damiano, please. I know what Olaf is doing and what Iwona is doing. What are you doing in life, like in UrbanistAI?
Yeah, actually, sort of the idea comes a long way. Comes from the fact that we constantly need to reimagine the future of our cities. And in Europe, we have, of course, a new vision to realize, right? So we need to have a kind of a greener, more sustainable Europe. And I've just taken here some numbers today from the European Environmental Agency, where actually in Europe there is at least 25 different programs and directives that are designed to sort of guide us through this vision of greener cities. There is over 4,500 Covenant of Mayors signatures, which are actually about also climate adaptation in cities. And of course, the 6 international framework we all might know, like the Paris Agreement, and of course also the new Global Stockade and so on. But kind of the point here is that there is a really big new vision for Europe, and we need to create the tools to communicate and co-design this future. Because as we know from experience, most vision fail. And most vision fails because usually they're not aligned with the social needs, and they're very, very difficult to communicate. So at UrbanistAI, what we did is that we created a generative AI platform that allows cities and also ministries, also from the national level, to communicate what those policies are and let participants and citizens also basically co-design the future of their own cities.
Okay, I know from my personal, experience that technology can really complicate things. When I try to do something with a piece of pen and sheet of paper, it's always easy. But when I'm using my laptop, I can be out of battery and so on and so on. I imagine that there are many things that can break up, during while using the advanced technology in city planning. So could you provide us an example of, success story when these technologies were used?
Yeah, actually, it's been used already over a year ago in the city of Helsinki to co-design with the citizens 2 pedestrian streets. So citizens were invited together with experts, architects, and designers, and they've co-designed, and then within 3 months actually built those pedestrian streets. Also in the city of Zurich, currently UrbanistAI is actually running as a public application for anyone to basically take photographs anywhere in the city of Zurich, in Switzerland. And they can take a photograph. With the fingers, they can select the area they want to transform, and then they can basically let the AI transform those images, those photographs based on their ideas.
And you do it in application, like...
Yes, it's a software, so it runs on any browser or laptop or kind of a phone. And this has been used also quite kind of largely also by United Nations Development Program from Panama to Indonesia, so also for cities that are being built and don't exist yet, like in
That's really interesting, and people are using it?
Yeah, people are really using it. So we had over 40 projects last year alone, and it's been quite beautiful also to see that it's not just for citizens, but also city planning offices are reimagining the structure of kind of how urban planning is done. Now that there is AI, it's in the office basically.
And Olaf, the city of Warsaw invests in data science projects and IoT. Could you please give us examples? What are those projects and how they can, what benefits can they bring to residents?
Well, thank you for having me here. Well, the first thing I'd like to say is that there is no city without technology these days, and data flows. And of course, as a city of Warsaw, which is a capital city and city of 2 million people, we have a lot of technology, whatever it comes to air quality, public transportation, human traffic, car traffic. So all things related to what's going on in the city. Then of course we use a number of different technologies. The problem, however, which we have is sometimes that you may have an impression that you have more technology actually than data available because, well, if you have our own like city systems, then of course technology harvests the data. The data is ours. So basically, this is how can we do a lot of analysis. With private, technology, with different projects, we see that the data is locked. So part of my, duty or portfolio, if you wish, is to talk to companies and simply just to unlock, private data, especially when it comes to socioeconomic data. I mean, like refugees, last I mean, 2 years ago with the war in Ukraine, just there was an inflow of, hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian refugees to Warsaw, and well, we were happy to talk to one of the data companies, and they were giving us data. But if we were about just to buy this data, just to negotiate the contract, it would take us just months actually. Yes, so I would say technology is there. There's a lot of technology. With data, it's a different story, and the one of the problem which we have, like all cities, that the cost of technology is rising. Yes, and there is a certain moment when you have to consider, I mean, just how much technology you need in a city. Yes, to make, I mean, to provide certain services, but at the same time, just not to ruin your budget.
And the same question I have to Iwona about examples from Poznań.
Mm-hmm. Of course, I'm very happy that we can meet in Poznań, because the impact is third time in our city, and I would like to highlight that in Poznań, of course, we have a lot of use of new technologies and so on, but I would like to highlight the data management, because we work on this subject about some years. I don't know, maybe 2 years, and it's for us it's very important. And I would like to highlight that unfortunately it's not only technology; it's a way of thinking for all organization, and it's understanding that data is as a value, and you have to think about it as a very big, I don't know, maybe a challenge, because when you would like to take a decision, a lot of decision which city halls take every day a lot, you have to take into account data, and you have to receive very fluently and very often the kind of data. And of course we have in Poland Główny Urząd Statystyczny, everybody knows this organization, but you can receive the information, for example, 2 or 1 or 3 years before you understand and you need, and it is a very big problem. We discussed with Główny Urząd Statystyczny, and they said that it's for them it's a really very big problem. But city halls have a lot of data, and we can organize the system who receive this data, and maybe with BI technology we can use it as analysis. So for me it's important, and it is a very big challenge.
Okay, so Olaf talk a bit about the data and the technology. So how much technology is enough, Olaf? I would like to explore this part.
As much as you can handle. I mean,
and how much Warsaw can handle?
Obviously, I mean, technology is, certain of a gadget. Just people like, technology. Just and the question is, I mean, where are the areas where you really need technology, and where are the areas when you need offline, basically, just, yes? I mean, and there is a discussion going on, and especially these days, we have a war in Ukraine, and there is a cybersecurity component here. So the question is, which systems shall we duplicate certain systems to have them, online, offline access? How much should we go to with technology and with software? So I would say that we are at the moment when this debate about technology and data is no longer something just which is a nice to have. Now it's must to have, and it's gonna be like, okay, so how do we handle the whole ecosystem which we built with different units, different districts, and there's a private data and the city hall data, and so for the case of some emergencies. So I would say that now what we try to do is rather to stop and think, okay, what do we have, how we use it, can we really use the technology we already have, what sort of application we may have, instead of actually just going for some fancy things because they are new. An example is artificial intelligence. We are in a dialogue with one of the big data companies about AI. And actually, well, they kind of promise things which are not, available just in your everyday work. Yes, so you have to be very cautious not to be, you know, I would over optimistic, just to engage resources, spend a lot of money, because in the end of the day, you know, you have certain technology or certain solutions, but actually just you don't know what to do with it, yes? And this is also the flip side of the story about, you know, technology, and especially AI.
I would like to interrupt and just focus on concrete things, because I would like to really know how Warsaw and Poznań are using AI and IoT. I don't know, is it managing of traffic lights, for example, or searching for places for new schools? How do you do this, guys? In Warsaw? Or?
Well, I mean, you know, first of all, AI is simply about algorithms, yes? So when it's public transportation, you know, so you have it just many, many years ago, yes? Before the AI hype, which we have these days, yes? What we are, when particularly when talking about AI in certain applications, like in the back office, yes? We're talking about large language models. I mean, this is the kind of thing which we'd like to develop, because we're looking for actually giving, you know, the limited resources we have, and also the problems to attract people just to work in the city hall, yes? Yeah. We're trying simply to outsource, in a way, you know, certain, you know, things like, you know, bureaucracy and, you know, sort of chatbots. But the problem is that, you know, certain AI models are not so good in Polish, yes? Then you have to, there's a question of cybersecurity, there's a question of GDPR, there's the question of, you know, a lot of, you know, things which we are not aware of when we start, you know, and when we build some labs and some, you know, pilot projects, which we do in the city. But so to cut a long story short, I mean, the AI, like algorithms, they were already there many, many years ago. When it comes to city planning, urban planning, it's still like, you know, you need data and you need still people just to think, because, you know, AI will not do, you know, this for you. It can do it for you with problems creating. And what we need actually is to wait until, you know, all these, you know, technologies are mature enough and they're secure enough and they're compliant with all the, you know, regulations we have, to really start thinking, okay, so how, I mean, what is the portion of our work we can outsource to those new technologies, yes? This is not the moment we...
Yeah, so you said about tracking citizens. So Damiano, I have a question for you. Where is the boundary between collecting data about, you know, life in the city and the surveillance of citizens? How do you, you know, address the thing?
Yeah, actually, I would say kind of at least for generative AI in urban planning, we don't really need, for example, in our case, we don't really need users' data. We actually need simply photographs of the cities. So I would say actually a lot of a generative AI that deals with kind of a design of cities does not need any data from users at all. Actually, what is very interesting is that actually what generative AI needs the very old city archive, right? You know, this thing that kind of usually when you go, it's kind of a small office, there is dust everywhere, right? But actually this is the best resource for AI. It's all the imagery, all the policies written down or in PDF that are available. So there is the mine for AI. And I would say that is the future of AI, and for cities is to actually understand that the wealth it's the real information that they have, because within 1 to 2 years, everything that you will have online might be very difficult to know, might be very difficult to split from real to synthetic, and AI cannot be trained with synthetic data. You need real data. So there is going to be a huge resource to be found within cities.
It's not well known in Poland, but Poland is one of the best countries with best public data. So, you know, you can just come here and work with us. And the other problem I see with the AI in the city is like it's making city less resilient. Like for, you know, what if there is a power outage, if we use electricity everywhere and computers everywhere, how do you address the thing? With, you know, power outages, cyber attacks, software failures?
In Poznań, of course, we make and use new technology in transportation, in dusty industry and other places. But the most important for us is service for people. And the most important, this kind of subject we discuss about is to make a city the most pleasant place to live. And we have to think about it, but because technology is, of course, very important. We can choose and we can say about a lot of things we do with new technology, but we have to take into account that people that they will be happy. And for example, in our city we have bots to answer for a question of the people, of the citizens. And you know that sometimes it's a problem with people who would like to work in City Hall, maybe, but because a lot of city halls have the same problem. And they use AI to discuss with people, and it's a good idea, I think.
Yeah, you talk about people, and you, Damiano, also said about people participation and how to work with city officials, because I think the main problem could be mentality in cities.
Yeah, actually, the way we usually work is that the first thing we do, we build capacity to use AI in public administration. So we run this kind of workshop to actually train city officials, even vice mayors or staff, to actually learn how to use it. And themselves, they actually then use these tools to communicate with citizens. So the main power here of AI is actually the ability to bring humans together. So I would say this is kind of how we try to use the AI.
And I think we're heading to the last part of the discussions, and it will be another problem. There are hypotheses that use of IoT and AI deepens inequality in city, because we have young people who can just use it like drinking water. It's natural, but we have older and how to address this issue, Olaf?
Well, as a future...
I live in Warsaw, Prague, so I have mostly people which are really high class or middle class, and then I have many old people. So,
well, as a future senior, because this is, what I guess, it's changing. It's true that we now when you take like elderly people, just you cannot expect them simply all of them. Some of them are really good, but not all of them to be able to use technology, and they need face-to-face contact. Yes, and we learned it the hard way during the pandemics, actually, when certain city programs has to be suspended, because it didn't make any sense actually just to online to communicate with people online. Yes, but I guess with the each and every new generation, well, I'm gonna be a different senior than seniors these days, yes. So I guess this technology will be out there. I think we're in a moment when there is a kind of a technology fatigue, if I may put it that way. So certain people are just they have it enough. So again, as I said, just it's a huge challenge for the cities, because not to over-invest in technologies, because in the end of the day, of course, many people, they won't like to have chatbots, to have automatic processes, but there's gonna be always a certain portion of the city, inhabitants who would like simply just to come to the office, sit in front of a real, people, just real clerk, and discuss things. So I guess we'll have this double track. So we'll develop technology, AI. At the same time, we have to develop this human track, if I may put it that way. Yeah? Thank you.
Damiano, do you have a solution for the problem?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I completely agree with you, because that is the key core point is that AI is very divisive. If you see also yesterday ChatGPT new presentation, they showed how an AI connects with an AI, but they've not shown how a person connects with another person through AI. So that is the challenge. So we need to indeed spread this technology with everyone, but at the same time still invite people to the city hall, still have them in person interact with each other. Because we are lucky to be in a conference like this, but most people, they don't have occasions to network with each other. So this is still the most important thing. Use technology to actually have persons communicate in person.
Yeah. So thank you very much, guys. We ran out of time. Thank you very much for participating in our panel, and we're heading to the next one. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.